Alright. Hello, my name is Marvin Reed. I'm here to discuss with you the issue of poverty. Now, poverty was the main theme in the book, The Glass Castle, which I'm going to be telling you about. Poverty is the state of being extremely poor. Now, you may have seen or heard of many poverty-stricken environments, but none as intensified as the one presented to us in The Glass Castle. The Glass Castle was a memoir written by Jeanette Walls. Jeanette decided to write a novel about her upbringing and how life was growing up compared to what life has become for her now. She wrote from her own perspective, but it is respectable to say that she shared the same perspective as her other siblings, Brian, Lori, and Maureen. Now, they all endured the same struggle of being raised by irresponsible, lazy, and reckless parents. Rex, the father of the four, was a drunkard who could never keep a job and often spent all of the family's money on booze, while Rosemary, the mother of the four, sat around and watched him. Rosemary was an artist and had dreams of starting an art studio instead of working a regular job and providing for her children like the average mother would do. Rex found few jobs, but they never lasted because he couldn't stay sober. Rex began planning to create an entire home for the Walls family, and he was going to call it the Glass Castle. Now, in the story, Jeanette was the only one of the three children who believed in her father and had hope in him and his plans. Brian and Lori both ignored his irrational ideas. Jeanette eventually lost hope too, and it was for a good reason. Now, the family continued and were forced to constantly move from place to place, often leaving in the middle of the night due to unpaid rent. The kids also went starving and were forced to turn to garbage cans for food. Now, what kind of life is that? The family finally seemed to find a permanent home in moving to Welch, which was in West Virginia, which was also the hometown of Rex Walls. They bought a house and lived there for a while, still under the same poor conditions, before finally Lori and Jeanette decided they were going to move to New York and get away from Welch and the poor conditions in Welch. Now, all four kids emerged from their poverty-stricken lives and did something positive with themselves after they finally got away from Welch and all the poverty that was in Welch and moved to New York. But as for Rex and Rosemary, the struggle continued. Though they were in New York, they continued to struggle and live on the streets and be poor. Rosemary continued to live on the streets, and eventually Rex passed away. Now, poverty was the overall theme of the book, as I said earlier. Jeanette Walls and her family lived in poverty their entire lives up until adulthood. Jeanette Walls and her family lived in poverty their entire lives up until adulthood, as I also just stated. Jeanette Walls has now emerged into a successful news reporter in the city. Now, Jeanette stated on an interview that she felt as if she was living a lie because people looked at her as a glamorous and luxurious person. She felt that that was not who she truly was or has been her whole life, and she felt ashamed of herself. She felt that she was living a lie and being fraud towards everyone. Her poverty-filled childhood has caused pain to her in the present day and caused her to be brought down by the feelings caused from it. Now, all of these feelings stem from the beginning of her life, which was poverty. Now, according to the UNICEF, 22,000 children die each day due to poverty. Nearly one-half of the world's population, more than 3 billion people, live on less than $2.50 a day. Isn't that horrible? More than 1.3 billion live in extreme poverty. That's less than $1.25 a day. Now, the poverty level in the world is ridiculous right now, and it should be revealed to everyone to show people the true things that are going on on this earth. It is horrible, and it should be dealt with, and it could be dealt with in many different ways. People all around could help. You can help. Just make a change. It's not hard. Thank you. This is my presentation. My name is Marvin Reed. Thank you.